welcome to the Bill Singh podcast. My name is Bill Singh, and I'm just going to touch really briefly on a topic. I've been on kind of a pro-life thing here lately, and I've been on a pro-life thing for quite a while now, as that is kind of one of the most important political issues of our day. I think that it probably, for me, the most important political issue that there is. I mean, to me, I've always just kind of seen it as what is more important? What greater cause is there than to save the lives of babies, than to protect babies from undue and unjust harm? And there have been many arguments against the pro-life movement. Some of them that people might be more sympathetic to are the ones that are just downright absurd. I would find them all, at the end of the day, once they're analyzed, once they're taken into consideration, all the options that are out there regarding, okay, should you have an abortion under any circumstances? I see every single one of the arguments to be, when you look at it and to see the implications and to see the options and everything, to be absurd on their faces. Namely because even in the cases of rape and incest, to say that you should get an abortion under those circumstances, you're not punishing the offender, really. I would argue that, one, as a woman, you are punishing yourself. And then two, you are punishing that child who had nothing to do with any of the situation and cannot be blamed for simply succumbing to nature, becoming a living being because of the procreative process, and the baby has no say over whether or not it's conceived. So even to abort under those circumstances, and knowing that there are options to save the lives of those babies, to save the life, the livelihood, the lifestyle, maybe, I don't know, of the to-be mother as well, I just think that saying that somebody should be punished who had no involvement whatsoever is just an absurd thing to suggest. And in those circumstances, the one who is guilty is the one who gets off scot-clean, essentially, because they don't have to face the consequences necessarily, unless, of course, they are arrested and tried and convicted and have to go through the proper penalties, which, by the way, in my opinion, the penalty for rape absolutely should be the death penalty or something along those lines, at least something equivalent to the crime that they committed. So anyway, that's on that topic. That's actually not why I'm recording today. I'm recording today, and this is probably going to be a short one, by the way, is because of this argument that has persisted that about, hey, you say that you are pro-life. Well, you're only pro-life until the baby's born, and then you don't care about it anymore. I'm sorry, I think that is a lazy argument. I think it is a stupid argument. I think that it is one of those arguments that is just desperately trying to grasp onto a thread, but it's one of those arguments that's so absurd that sometimes it's hard even to argue against it. It's like, what do you say back to it? Of course I care about the child afterward. And their response would be like, well, you don't take care of its health care. You don't take care of it if it's in a low-income family, so on and so forth. And of course, our arguments from the pro-life side are that, well, essentially, that we believe that there are options for people if they don't want to keep the baby, for instance, like adoption. And there are such things as foster homes and so forth to take care of children whose parents do not want the responsibility to take care of the child that they conceived, whether that is justly or unjustly. And but hear me out on this one, because I had a friend approach me on this today, and mind you, he was kind of saying it in terms of that somebody else had brought up an argument, had brought up that argument to him, that you only care about life until it's born. And I looked back at my friend who was telling me this, and I nodded my head and said, yeah, because what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to take care of the baby when it's born? I mean, it's not my baby. I shouldn't be taking care of the baby after it's born, right? Does the baby have parents? Well, we have these things called mothers and fathers. And so the mother and the father, they're the ones who are responsible for raising the child after it is born. Now, we live in a broken and sinful society. And I don't say that from a preacher standpoint or anything like that. I'm saying that our society does not function perfectly. Our society does not function the way that it should, and we are continually giving outs to people for not fulfilling their responsibilities. That we have inherently human responsibilities. If you look in nature, all animals have responsibilities. We see it with birds. Birds, the mother hangs out at the nest, or maybe, I don't know, maybe sometimes the father does it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how nature operates in every circumstance, but most cases, the mother bird hangs out at the nest and takes care of the eggs. I know that the father bird lots of times is involved in that as well. And we see that in the mammal world, that any calf or whatever that is born is dependent on its mother for milk. And we even see in the reptile world that we see that crocodiles, alligators will take care of their young. These are natural responsibilities that if these animals did not take care of their young, their species would go extinct. And yet somehow we are more mindful and more caring about that than what we are of our own babies. Now, to take this into another direction, okay, so again, have I debunked that whole idea of, well, you only care about the baby until it's born? Not entirely, because you know what? I do care about that baby after it's born, completely, and I wish that society was perfect so that every child would be born to a healthy mother and a healthy father and a healthy relationship, and they'd be able to raise this child in a family that's full of love, and I wish that that was the case. Now, what the other side is suggesting is that there should be government programs in place to take care of these children. No. I mean, not absolutely no. I mean, maybe in some cases, and indeed there are even programs in existence to take care of children whose parents don't want to take care of them. Again, like I said, there's foster care, there's adoption, and so forth. But what they're actually pushing is socialism. And this is one of their ploys to make you think that they're being just, to make you think that they're caring about people, and they're really not. They're just trying to push their agenda by tugging on your heartstrings is what they're really trying to do. But think about this. Okay, so recently there was a murder that happened that has garnered national attention, which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think that we should know about these cases at all, by the way. I don't think that we should get national news of like a murder unless it's, for instance, like the president of the United States or something like that is murdered, okay? Because quite frankly, I think that every local community should take care of this sort of garbage inside of their community. I mean, I don't know, maybe there's some circumstances where there is needed more attention, but for the most part, I think we would be much better off if news was kept local. Having said that, there's a case that has garnered national attention. A teenager, Carmelo Anthony, stabbed and killed another teenager, Austin Metcalf, at a high school track meet. My understanding is Austin Metcalf had asked Carmelo to move out of a seat where he was sitting or to move over or something like that. And Carmelo responded, "Touch me and find out what happens." Now, people, with young men like this, with teenagers like this, that really is an invitation, okay? That's not merely a warning. That's an invitation. And I don't know what Austin Metcalf did exactly, but whatever it was, Carmelo Anthony then turned with a knife in hand and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the heart, killing him. Now, this argument that I'm only pro-life until a child is born is like saying that I'm only pro-life until somebody's murdered. Well, that's absurd. That is absolutely absurd. Well, were you going to take care of Austin Metcalf? Well, no, of course I wasn't going to take care of Austin Metcalf so I didn't even know who Austin Metcalf was before this. But saying that I'm only pro-life until a child is born is like saying that I'm only pro-life until Austin Metcalf was murdered. Well, that's absurd. It's like saying that, okay, if Austin Metcalf survives this murder, you are now responsible. You, Bill Sang, are responsible for taking care of Austin Metcalf because you have determined in your mind that he should live. Well, what kind of crazy argument is that? Think about it, people. This is the argument they're making for abortion, is they're saying, hey, if you don't think that a mother should have an abortion, you should take care of that baby. Well, I'm sorry there. That's just not how things work. That's not how nature works. Once you are born, you have a system that you should be born into. At the very least, you should be born with a mother. And of course, she is responsible for taking care of you. Now, there should be a father in the picture too. That is how nature works. There should be a mother and a father, and they should work together as a team, as a family, to raise the baby. I mean, it's just that simple. I should not have to, I care in a general sense about every unborn baby, about every born baby, about every child, about every teenager, about every adult, about every elderly person on the middle-aged. Did I forget middle-age? I'll include middle-age in there too. I care about every single one of them in a general sense because they are created in the image of God and we are commanded to love our neighbors as ourselves. Now, having said that, do I care about every single one? I don't. What do I mean by that? Okay, so in a general sense I do, but in a literal sense I don't. I don't even know of the existence of the majority of people. How can I care about somebody that I don't even know about? And I've been thrown there that in a general sense, I even care about the people before they're born. I care about every life that is going to come into existence and be conceived and so forth. But I cannot care about somebody that I do not know about in a very specific and literal way. I cannot do that. I am incapable of it. It is impossible for me to because I don't know everything and I don't know everybody. And because of that, I can't possibly take care of somebody that I don't know. And I shouldn't have the responsibility to take care of somebody that I don't know. And mind you, this gets into a larger political discussion. And I think that taking care of the people that you are aware of, I think that that's important. You provide help when you're able to provide help. Don't withhold help when you're able to. I believe the Bible even calls that a sin, to withhold help when you are capable of doing so. But to say that you're only pro-life until a child is born. Again, like I said, that's like saying that you're only pro-life until Carmelo Anthony kills Austin Metcalf. What, did you plan on taking care of Austin Metcalf? No, I didn't plan on taking care of Austin Metcalf. He had, I think his parents were divorced or something. Nonetheless, he had a mother and a father that could perfectly well take care of him before he was murdered. And if he wasn't murdered, I should not be expected, and nobody does expect me to take care of him. That'd be absurd. Okay? So, having said all that, again, this is just one of the millions of arguments, not literally millions, but one of the millions of arguments out there to try to sway you to think that, maybe I should be pro-choice. Nope. Pro-choice is pro-abortion, and I would go on to say that it's pro-baby killing. It is pro-sacrificing your children to pagan deities, more or less. So I want to put that out there. I'm glad I was able to record this. I'm glad I was able to get that off my chest. This is the Bill Sang Podcast. My name is Bill Sang. I think that the song I'm having playing right now is Down in the Swamp by Otto Mercer and Jay Albright. Have a blessed day.
Here with the snakes and gators down in the bayou land. Black Swamp Blues take me home. Black Swamp Blues